Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
Have clearly shown me that when I do put others first, as hard as it is, as counterintuitive sometimes it feels, is when you get the biggest rewards, right? And what's interesting is that the first reward you get is not money. It's that satisfaction, the happiness, right? Those things that truly fulfill you in life.
Yeah.
And by experiences and trials and errors, and by no means am I in a place that I feel that I master that in any way, but I do feel that at least I'm facing the right direction. And it has started to really come back to me on how I feel as a person, the peace in my heart that God has given me. And more importantly, the direction I feel that I'm able to, that I'm going towards. And it's moving to the platform, right? It's essentially a community that we built. And what that community is resources. And the typical structure that people would expect for a community to be is by being able to walk in and you have to pay a membership or become, have some type of cost to be part of it. And then you would expect the person to put that community together to take a piece from everybody. So there's always a necessity, financial necessity. And for me, I thought about some of the big models. There's a book named Free that talks about how Google was able to monetize things by giving things away, right? And if you look at it from that perspective, especially in our business, our goal is to create something that is 100% free to people. And I don't want your money. I want something a lot more valuable. I want your time. I want your commitment. So our qualification for people that want to become part of it is not necessarily, hey, I'm interested. We interview everybody and it's like, listen, no sign-up fees, no monthly fees. Here's the resources, the quality of the people that we have on our board. These are people that I would say have the same amount of experience or even more than I do transactionally. Different like finance people that I don't want to throw names out there yet since we're still finalizing things, but these are people that are the biggest names in hard money lending are sitting and committing to be part of the board. Big names that you would recognize from TV and things like that. And the value of it is understanding that we're all collectively there to serve the people in the community first. And what's neat about that, and you've been saying this, is how to do it in a way that you don't have to have a bunch of staff. You don't have to have expertise in marketing. And the way it works, it's basically, if you really look at the three pillars of flipping is inventory, transaction, and then disposition and processes that are part of all those systems. We figure out a way to empower agents by giving them leads and tools so they become essentially our extension, right? So instead of us having to go out and hire a bunch of salespeople, we use data to identify agents that are already doing transactions and sourcing deals to other investors. And what we started doing is asking agents. We were that pesty investor asking them for deals, right? And anybody that's an agent that has a cell phone number gets those stupid calls from those wholesalers and investors. What do you got? Send it to me, fast close, guarantee, double end, all that fun stuff, right? So we did that for a long time and we actually did really well. But at the end of the day, I realized the problem is I'm trying to make money versus how do I help people? We shifted that and we say, well, what if I give the lead to an agent that already treats his business like a business? I can see the math. They're successful. Why don't I give them technology? Why don't I give them this information? And when we started realizing the give first approach, it started making a lot of sense. And we realized I don't have to talk to 10,000 agents. All I really need is 1,000 people that give me one deal every other year. And that generates enough transactions for us to feed 10 of our operators.
Right.
So these agents see us as a value proposition. We provide them leads. We provide them insights to information. We have pretty much, as you guys know, there's Cloud CMA in the MLS. We're the preferred investor for Cloud CMA, different conversation, but we created an as-is CMA. And the value with that is for an agent to present data to their homeowners to understand how to present an as-is offer using data without the trust me conversation.
Right.
And homeowner needs to know that if they are going to sell at a price that's not necessarily better than Zillow, because we know homeowners say, hey, Zillow says, we have to explain to them. But once they realize they're getting a fair market value, the price is not as relevant. Obviously, it's very important for them. But when they say like, yeah, I wanted 600, but the fact is my real price is 6 or whatever that number is.
Right.
So we empower agents through technology. We give them leads. We use that to be the top of the funnel. They're interconnected through the technology. And then we funnel back that information down to our investors. The investors are people that understand their market, right? We're not a coach. We're not a guru. We're not here to train people how to flip. We empower people through processes, technology, and resources. So the type of profile of the people we're looking for to join our network that are flippers are the people that already know their market, understand the wrong side of the tracks. I don't have to explain to them why you don't buy this and you buy that. And what we do is we just plug them in on a seat, and I am able to give them two very major components of the flipping, which is the inventory and the construction management. So the construction management, it's really, really important because we are able to provide the support of a specialized, not a contractor, but a construction management team that follows the direction of us as the operators to stay true to a buy box that allows us to get in and out in less than 3 weeks. That's our average rehab. We get in and we get out really quickly. We don't do anything that's major. We don't, we move walls, but nothing that is too structural.
Yeah, like weight bearing, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're in and out really, really fast. It allows us to buy thinner deals, but I'm able to buy not on an ROI, but an IRR, which means that my ROI can be 10%, which is thin, but because I'm in and out so fast, I'm in and out in 90 days from purchase to resale, I can move that money 4 times. So I'm at a 40% IRR on my money. The return is through the roof. That extra flip I can do a year because I'm buying the right product. I have enough looks to make sure I don't get out of my box. I'm focusing on making the right decisions. I have a really strong construction management team that's keeping me out of the field, but very well informed. We follow a very strict process. And then on top of that, we tie it in with 100% financing, which means that we're able to give high leverage as long as they follow the process. And it just works.
It's a model.
That's right. It's the sandwich Subway concept of being able to do something really well consistent.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. And that's, again, we go back to that on-base percentage thing, right? So ROI for people that are tuning in, it's return on investment. IRR is internal rate of return. And the ROI, the difference between the ROI and the IRR basically is time, right? And so the reason the IRR is so high is because you're not getting in there and changing the world with one house. Okay. You're getting in there, you're getting done what needs to get done, you're making it the way it needs to look. You might move a wall here and there to open it up, right? But you're literally getting in, getting dirty, getting it finished, getting out of there, and then back on the market. Where that starts to come into focus for people, and a lot of people don't don't understand this, but it's the cost of money, right? Every
That's right.
single day that
That's
you have
right.
that 100% financing on that property plus the rehab,
That's
right?
It's
It's costing you money every single day. So every day that you can shave off of that deal, because this, the average flip is 3-4 months, right?
that's right.
And it's 3 months in construction, man, right? If you can get in there, get done what you need to get done in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that kind of thing, and then turn around and get that thing back on the market, that's where you make your massive internal rate of return. The 100% financing helps, but you got to get it paid off. You got to move it, right? You got to turn it.
And everybody wins. The
Yeah.
lender's happy because they're making more points. You minimize your risk because the market's not going to shift in 30 days on you.
Yeah.
You can absorb stuff that's a little bit thinner, leaner. And it just, when you look at it, obviously the key of all this is staying in the buy box. What
Yeah.
we've done through the community, through the network, and it's all part of the board, right? So everybody that's part of it, we all have a commitment to be part of the board. And what that role is that we all collectively bring our expertise. So my lender sits there and says, guys, we can give you this. Here's the limitations. Our construction management team says, guys, we're having a hard time with tile. We're going to have to shift to this. And then we collectively, as a flipper team community, we give feedback to the COO, which is our promise keeper of Flip IQ, to make sure that the deliverables we're looking from the network, the resources, are serving us as we collectively agree. And what's neat about it is that we all have the same boat, including myself, because I'm actually not I'm part of the board, but I'm not part of the operational piece. Back to the thing, I'm going to what I do best is flipping and staying away from, reinventing things, because I happen to like to reinvent. But for me, right? For me, being part of the board is what I can give back the most. And at the end of the day, Mike, to be honest with you, make the most money with the least headaches, so I can actually put away enough inventory where, as a community, one of the other things is, obviously anybody that's been in the flipping world, that our goal is always to buy and hold.
Yeah.
And collectively as a community, we're also doing that. So not only are we using best practices through the relationships with the agents, so we have consistent inventory, relying on professionals to manage the transactions, have a collective understanding of what the best approach is because of the wisdom of the crowd. But at the end of the day is, what are you going to do with the money, right?
Mhm.
And it's being able to have a decent life, but ultimately being able to collectively put this away, do it in a way that you're smart with the taxes, and be able to create generational wealth through real estate investing. And that's something that's always stuck in my head, and everybody knows in this game, that's how you get ahead. And it's by not taking that 30 grand and putting in your pocket, is by leaving it in there. And for you young folks out there, I can tell you, if you're in your 20s, you're going to be 30 before you know it. And if you're 30, you're going to be 50 before you know it.
You're going to blink and you're going to be my age, right?
Don't be fooled by taking that money now. You're always better off leaving it there, because 10 years go by really quick, and you bought something for, even today, right? I look back and go, $1 million. I can't believe that house is worth $1 million. But I can tell you, in 10 years, that property is going to be $2 million. We're paying $9 for gas.
Yeah.
Milk's going to be costing you $14. But at the end of the day, time goes quick. Properties always double in the 10-year period, which you usually do. So buy and hold is a big component of this game that I didn't do as well as I should have, that I would recommend for anybody, Mike, that's listening. That's probably the number one advice, especially if you're young. Obviously, everybody buy, hold, put in a good structure so it's protected. And that's where the money is really made, is on that buy, hold, that's going to pay you dividends on a monthly base, plus it's going to appreciate. So when you look at your return, those are the ones that have the best. Now back to the trophy and the paycheck. Those are not trophies, they're paychecks.
Yeah.
And they do become very valuable down the road. They're not as fun, but they're a
I
lot more
got you.
valuable.
So let's talk about this for just a second, right? The lender is giving you 100% financing because they know there's a system and a model in place.
That's
They
right.
know that you've got construction managed. They know that that's the biggest, if you will, pitfall. Okay.
That's right.
You're going to buy the property right. You're going to get a construction crew in there, and that's where, let's be honest, the wheels sometimes come off, right? And so
Exactly.
the reason why lenders want skin in the game, in other words, less than 100% financing, is because they know that there's risk involved. The
That's
more
right.
you've done this, the less risk there is. But the fact that you have the model that you have and the professionals you have managing the construction, that helps them with the risk piece, right? So they're in
100%.
a place where they can do 100% financing comfortably because of the model and because of what you set up in terms of the internal systems. So I wanted to make sure that we pointed that out, because that is something that when you're a flipper, and you know, some people don't quite get it, but they will when they start flipping and they start having to put money down and they start having to deal with capital and shortages and float and all this
That's
other
right.
stuff, right? You're, as a flipper, you're going to have a capital issue. You're going to have capital challenges, right? And some of it, if you can get away from putting money down, that's just that much more liquid you have and that many more deals you could do, right? I mean,
100.
that's a big, big deal. So if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about Flip IQ, they just go to flipiq.com, right?
Yes, correct. Just go there. Like I said, we're not selling anything.
Yeah.
Definitely read the information. Our core value or core focus right now is to expand to have two operators in the Southern California market doing about 7 transactions a month.
Right.
Um, we have the people that we have already. We're very close to those numbers, so we are doing volume. The idea is to get consistency across the board where the people that are backing us, whether if it's the hard money lender, the resource providers, once we have a proven concept that can be copied and pasted, we're going to go ahead and start taking it to the other markets. But the most important part is the people that we're working with that I would say that are going to get the most value out of this are agents that are already in the business sourcing to investors that can learn how to leverage our technology to source more transactions to their investors and get more listings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really neat tools. I won't get into them. You can look at them in the website. If you're an operator, you've been doing this for a while, you understand their market, you have a good track record, maybe doing 1 or 2 a month, we can bring you up to 5 a month very easily. And take care of the sourcing component, the construction. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but at the end of the day, just common sense, right? Once you see it, there's no secret sauce outside of really being able to bring a good team of people around with a single focus to help each other out. And that's really the magic.
So let's just real quick, and I apologize. I meant to bring this up earlier when you said the trust me thing, right? I'm a listing agent. I've obviously, you know, I've been in the business a very long time, listed a lot of houses, and a lot of them have been fixers. Okay. I was in the REO business. I listed a lot of properties that needed work. And when you're sitting with a seller and the seller has an idea of what the zestimate is on their property, right? And you're sitting and talking to them and you're saying, look, your house isn't worth this. It's worth this. And let me show you the numbers, right? That's where the trust me thing comes in, because you have a database of properties that have, through Flip IQ, that have sold, that were sold to investors, okay?
That's
that were
right.
sold to flippers, okay? And some of them are buy and hold. Some of them are buy and hold, but they bought them, they fixed them up, right? And they either rented them out or they resold them. One of the beautiful things about this is these realtors can go back and check the history of these properties, okay? And they can look and see what they sold for. And then they can come back to the client and they can say, look, this is what the property looked like. These are the photos. This is similar to yours, right? To look familiar, right? You know, that kind of thing, right? And then, you know, the 1960s shag carpet. I mean, come on, dude, right? It's going to be back in style next year, by the way, if you hold on to it.
Exactly.
You with me? But, you know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can show it to them. And then you can come back and say, this is what they did. This is what the before looks like. This is what the after looks like. This tells you what you need to know. So we're not having a conversation where you're saying, look, I've been doing this for, in my case, 33 years. Trust me, right? You're not having that conversation. What you're literally doing is you're sitting there and you're showing them the numbers. You're showing them photographic evidence. You're showing them everything that they need to know. That's what you're equipping these agents with. And that's what I need realtors who are listening to this to understand is you have resources available to them that just aren't readily available out there. And so the CMA that they can do, comparative market analysis they can do, is a comparative market analysis as a fixer, and then a comparative market analysis as a flip, right? When it's finished, what the ARV looks like, what we call after repair value. Okay. And that in and of itself will help people with the decision-making process of pricing their property correctly. Then you come in and you figure out a way to help them with their capital issues, but also to get more efficient. So they actually end up with a higher rate of return. They ended up, internal rate of return. They end up with a higher ROI, and they don't have the same headaches that you have with these, normal flips, right? So that's the thing that I want people to understand. I just want them to get, and sorry I'm talking so much, but I just want them to understand that there's value here that's above and beyond what people might realize. And we're going to do another podcast interview, you and I, where we go into the details, and it's going to be a while. It takes a while to do it, but I want to go into the details, and I want to be able to show, hey, if you're a realtor, this is right. If you're an investor, this is, you with me? Exactly. These are the things you want to pay attention to. I want people to understand that this has been, you're into this thing for over $1 million.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's just your hard costs. That's just what you've invested. We're not talking about time, right? If we looked at the total of the time that you're in this thing, we're in the millions of dollars. Okay. And so that's what I want people to understand is this is an amazing resource for them. And I can't wait for us to get back together and go through the details and sort of, show people what it is we're doing. We'll share screen and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted this episode to be about you and specifically about your life, which is incredible. I love your life story and it's inspiring. It's inspiring. And I want other immigrants to hear this, right? I want other people that are thinking about getting into this business. I want them to hear what worked and what didn't work. You know what I mean? Right. And how you learned from it. Because let's be honest, the wisdom that you have today came from bad decisions, right?
100%.
That led, you with me? It happens. We all skin our nose, skin our knees, all that kind of stuff. So I just want you to know how unbelievably proud I am of you. And I'm so I feel so blessed that we were brought together and had an opportunity to get to know each other. And I cannot thank you enough for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience.
Mike, it's been awesome. I appreciate it. And I would say the reward at the end of the day, by all this time and effort is the relationships and the people you get to be part of. And to me, and I share this with you, and I'll say it here in closing, one of the visions I continue to really hold on to is the ability to be in our yearly Christmas party with the people, the agents, and the investors that we were able to be part of this amazing community that we're building, and look around and know that everybody had a really good year. And I think that's something that it drives me, and I think that is the beginning of something that can also be contagious for others to realize the power of being able to put others first. And again, I'm still working on that. It's a challenge, but I can tell you for a fact, the more you embrace that and the more you're able to put others first, is you get that back tenfold. And that's why I'm doing this, to help others and to enrich the families of the people. The finance part, to me, became secondary, but just the fulfillment and the value and the overall good feeling it's incredible. So we're very happy and blessed, and I can't thank God enough to be in this opportunity, to not just help others, but to also meet people like you, Mike, and and others that we'll be meeting through these channels. So very
Thanks
thankful.
again for being here, bud. I really appreciate you. And I cannot thank you enough for letting us share your life story with our listeners. This has been awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.